This is Dave Gardner with Camillus Ads, showing the setup of an actual autoresponder and campaign, and just some of the capabilities and things that you can do. If you missed the presentation, the live event that I did with the Camillus Chamber, this will be a good background of what's going on. So the main software that I am working with and that I've partnered with is through a company called Now Lifestyle and GVO. It's a parent company that's been around for 20 years, providing marketing and website tools. And so their new automated, email software is called SendShark. And so I just want to show you an example of this. And so if you were to join SendShark, your member login is actually going to be your username. So I have a test account that I just want to kind of run through. And so it'll look a little bit different to what you're possibly seeing in your account. And so if you do get this happens once in a while. Don't worry about it. Just click on the proceed to members area. If you can do a send confirmation, sometimes it happens, but really you just need to click on the members area, because if you're getting emails from them, then we know it's working. So this guy here, Joel, he is the CEO of Now Lifestyle and GVO. And so there's a couple videos there, but what you really need to focus on is this part right here. Now, the member area I'm using is going to be a little bit different because I'm not an upgraded member. This is just a test member here. I actually have a full complete membership website, but I just wanted to show you a blank system so you can actually see what it will look like when you come in and it's blank. Mine has a lot of emails in it. Mine has follow-ups. Mine has campaigns and things like that. So when you're going to click on this Now Lifestyle product suite, that's the important thing you're going to do first. And as you saw in the other video that I had that should be above this, if you're looking at this on my CamillusAds.com website, there is a series of pieces that you can play around with a ton of video. So over here it says watch training video. So if we click this, there's a video that pops up that describes that section, and every single section has one. So if we go to campaign, there's a video for stats, there's a video for lists, for ad campaign, custom fields, global fields, automation rules, tracking, complaints, so on and so forth. So every single one has a field, has a video there, and you can just hide it to clear up the space. And notice it's clear. I don't have any subscribers. Yesterday, today, I don't have any unsubscribed. And one of the main things we have, the drag and drop page builder is coming soon. And so basically creating a broadcast and using the HTML is going to be your main thing. So depending on whether or not you have a website, usually we would be doing this if you have a website and you're not really collecting emails yet, or maybe you're just looking for a new email autoresponder service to communicate with your leads and your subscribers and your clients. And so the first thing we need to do is create a campaign. You can't send any messages if you don't have a campaign or place to capture some information. So what we need to do is create a campaign. So I can look at statistics in my list, but notice there's no results in my list. I don't have anything here because there's nothing there yet. So what we want to do is create a campaign. So I'm going to just create a test campaign just to show you what some of the steps are. And again, a lot of these are in the videos that you could see, but for the live presentation, these are some of the steps that I was going through to show you how to actually do it. So the campaign name, we're going to call this the Chamber Test. And you don't really need to worry about a description. That's just for your own basis. And the email settings, basically when someone comes from you, and so when someone actually logs into your website, or goes to your website and registers for the email, they're going to get email directly from you. And so in this case, you might get a warning depending on where you are. It says this domain is protected by DMARC. System will automatically change your from. If you reply to is not protected, it will be used as the from as well. So we can change this. For example, I can do Dave Gardner at the David Gardner. Notice that changed that warning. This is where the reply emails were coming from. So if someone opts into my list, this is an email that the system has verified from me before. So I'm going to use this one. So again, you might need to verify. If you remember that first window we saw verifying the email, you might need to verify your email. And so when people get email from you, there's going to be an appropriate email that should be linked to your website, not just some random Gmail or Hotmail, but the notification email is a little bit different. So if someone replies, it will go to the email that I most check. And the Gmail account that I've attached to this is barefootpainting@gmail.com. And from Gmail, I can actually use different emails that are attached to this. And so basically that's all it is. Really, you're just going to create a name, and you're going to have your email and your name, what you want it to appear from or what you want it to say. Let's say you are just strictly a business and, maybe they want to know that it's the business and not necessarily a person. So let's say, in the other video I said, pizza shop. Maybe you, instead of that, you put the name of the pizza shop here so people know that that's what that's from instead of an actual person. And then, it could be support at, thepizzashop.com or, bob@thepizzashop.com, just so we know what that really is. Here's another key thing that you want to click. In order to figure out and to be daily updated, if you have a new subscriber, you want to click this checkbox. Otherwise, you won't know when you have a new subscriber and when people are actually opting into your list. So you're going to want to click that for a new subscriber and then just click create, and that's done. And now notice I have one in my campaign list. So notice it also bumped down. It was right from campaigns and now it's on list. I have no subscribers, no unsubscribed, no pendings, and right now it's just listed as private. Don't worry about that. I can go in and I can edit it. I can deactivate it or stop it so it doesn't work anymore, or I can just outright delete it. Once you have that, the next thing you want to really focus on that you really need to do is create a form so that you can actually put it on your webpage. So if we flip over here to my blog that I'm updating in the present time, notice over here on the main page, if I just click Camillus ads, it's going to change. It says email marketing. There is the subscribe to our free newsletter, your name, okay, your email, and then yes, you want updates. If I go to a different page, the About Dave page, notice this is still there. Subscribe to our free newsletter. If I go to the chamber page, notice it's still there. You want to have the ability for someone to opt into your page on every single page. You want them always to have the ability to opt in or a reason to opt in on every page. And so we're going to be creating those forms. And so we can create some forms that look like this, or we can be a little more generic. And so if we go over to, let's see, give me 1 second here. And I have another website that I play around a little bit. Something like this right here. Please enter your name and your email. Something very generic and very simple. This is possible. So if you're limited in space, you can do something that's just in this area as well. And I'll show you how to do both of those just to get some perspective. And so as we go through, this is my YouTube channel, so you're seeing the videos from that. As we go through this, you're going to want to, again, create a form. And so what that is, we can go through messages and you can start to create your automated series. You can figure out what your subscribers are, but you want to figure out a form. And you can do forms list, and notice there will be nothing listed. Right here, I have a chamber campaign, and that's the only one. If I had created a second campaign, we would see them both listed here. So there's nothing done yet. So we need to create a form, or I can do the form wizard. And so with the form wizard, you can actually generate multiple different varieties. And again, depending on your spacing and your website setup, we can have all different looks and appearances. Now with the form wizard, right now you can change the text at the bottom, but all the other text is pretty much consistent and is going to stay. So depending on if you have a free newsletter or free updates, notice I used, let's see, I used this one right here. It actually doesn't show the whole picture of what's at the bottom here. But notice subscribe to our free newsletter. And so on our page, subscribe to our free newsletter, all I did was I just added a widget on my blog. If you're familiar with blogging and WordPress, I just added this text here, and I can edit this as I play around and update my site. Join here for free, Camillus offers and specials. Because again, you want to tell people what it's all about, what they're actually opting in for. And so there's a lot of different varieties depending on if you just want something that's generic. If you're in a business, again, you can play around with the submit buttons. You can't really play around with the artwork that's on top. It's just the submit button that is going to change. These three fields will actually change and be edited in the system. And so, if you're a real estate company, you get some that look more like houses and similar ideas to that. So there's other ones as well for health and fitness and for opportunities, but we'll just focus on the generic one first. And really all it is a bunch of code, and you want to be able to send somebody someplace. You want to be able to send someone to an offer right away, or to provide the content that you promised on the original offer. Let's say you're, again, if we stick with the idea of a pizza store, let's say you're going to offer them a free topping or a free soda with their next purchase when they bring in the coupon and join your email marketing list. And so you could try to do something like that, for free updates. Get instant access could be a good one, because instant access would be, oh, I'm going to receive that right away. And so then you're going to actually create that. So if we just take a look at this, get instant access, there's a couple things that you need to fill out. The campaign, again, I could possibly choose or change, but I'm going to use the chamber test. I don't want to necessarily do English male, English female, Spanish female, Russian, so on and so forth. I want to do, because what that does is just sends a generic, pop-up form that says, hey, thank you for subscribing. Be sure to check your email. You want to give them something right away. So you want to do what's known as a custom URL. And in the custom URL, you're going to give what's known as a redirect page. The redirect page tells them where to go when they opt in. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to just kind of walk you through a page on my blog, and we're going to create a new page. I'm just going to call this Testing Email Campaigns. And so when we create this is just a test. And so in WordPress, I can do visual or I can do text. And text is code. Notice this other code popped up there. And so we want to be able to send people places. So let's just say, for example, once they opt in, I want them to go someplace. And you can change this to go anywhere. So I'm going to have this redirect to my Facebook page. So we're going to send it to http, let's see, semicolon, facebook.com/theDaveGardner. And again, you could have this set up to a secondary page, or maybe your pricing page, or maybe you have a separate hidden page on your website that they could actually create and print out that code. So this is where you're going to send them after they opt in, and you can do it anywhere. Let's say they opt in a second time by mistake, and maybe they've already seen the offer and you want them to go somewhere else. You could do a different page here. And so, for example, I'm going to put in my fan page for Camillus ads. So instead, this is just my personal one. This is my fan page. You could do it vice versa. Again, hoping you're getting the point. Whether you want it to be double opt-in or not. Okay, a lot of my websites, I check this off because I want people to go directly to the actual page and to get that information right away. But if you start to notice that your website is starting to get inundated, maybe with people that are not from Camillus and Syracuse or your local network, or they don't seem like they're right, like the email name doesn't match up to the name that's provided in your form. Like, for example, my email is DaveGardner@DaveGardner.com or DaveGardner@CamillusAds.com. But if I filled that in and then all of a sudden, the name said, Bob Smith with an email of DaveGardner@CamillusAds.com, it just doesn't sound right. So that could be a fake email. And you can do what's called a double opt-in. And the double opt-in will then send them to a different page, which again, you can create. And I can help you and explain that further if you decide to work with me with the SendShark email autoresponder software. And what happens is they then need to go to their email and they need to verify and check a box or just click a link in their email. And you've probably seen this before where you actually verify that you want to receive further emails from, the company in mind. And what that does is to protect people on both ends. People's emails get protected and your website gets protected because you're not sending out messages or, later on they're not marking you as spam, even though you meant good. So where I said, we can change this, submit now, I want it now. So we're just going to change something quick. We're going to create it. And then there's all this code, okay? All this code, you don't have to worry about writing it, creating it, figuring it out. You just have to know that it exists. And when you copy it to your clipboard, you can either do Control-A and Control-C to select it all and then to copy it all, or you can just click Copy to Clipboard. Notice it's highlighted and we can close it. I'm going to go back into my post, and instead of being visual, I'm going to go into text. So, for example, if we put a bunch of C's there just to point it out and capture it and recognize it, where all those C's are, I'm going to place that code. Now, all of this code is here. This is called HTML. It's hypertext markup language, which you don't really need to understand, but just know that it does work. And now all of a sudden, there's my form. Now, mine is looking a little bit funny which it could be because I have it inside this blog post and it's not normally used to being in the blog post, but instead it's used to being in a widget. And so that could be why that is like that. But if we test this, let's just publish this page and just see what shows up if we take a look at it. And again, this is on my end, might not work on your end like this. But notice get instant access. There's another bit of information. Let's see if I get rid of this information there. And if I republish it, let's see what happens. And we go from there and we check this, we update it, we refresh it. Notice that's gone. So what I want to show you again, the power. So let's just say, for example, I opt in and I go and I just create, again, this is Dave's tester. And we're going to do an email. I'll do one of my emails. And we're going to say I want it now. Now, as we sit here and wait for a second, notice it redirected. It turned into a new page, and this is my Facebook, one of my business Facebook pages. And so it redirected that. So what we need to do now, I'm just going to log out of this and go into my email. And when I go into my email, we should notice something, that I got a free subscriber. And so when I open up my email, we're looking for notifications that we got a new email subscriber for the specific campaign. So notice it right here. Joel Tarian, again, he's the CEO of SendShark. And so a new chamber test subscriber just opted in. Notice it says Dave's Tester, Dave Gardner at basiclacrosse.com. That's exactly what I just submitted. And so what you're going to do when you get your emails and you check your email daily, you'll see when you get new people register for your email autoresponder list. And so when we go into this, I've saved it all. If I go back into the campaigns, if I go into subscribers now, I can go into see my subscriber list. Notice I have one subscriber. This is, again, just a test account out of 10. You'll have up to 50,000 capacity. And so with the Dave Tester, I can do a couple things. I can go in and edit it, or I can, delete that person if I realize that I don't want them on the list. If I go in and edit it, basically you're limited to what you want to edit, but I can edit the name in here. I can't edit the person's email, but I can edit their name. And so if we go back to the dashboard, notice now I have one subscriber and one total subscriber, but where before these were zeros. And so that's just the initial power of using an email autoresponder tool. You're going to be able to capture someone's email and then, for example, redirect them to a certain page. Now, we're going to use the same one. I want to go back and show you what happens again when they're already subscribed. So let's say we do it again. So Dave Tester, I click it again. And you remember I put in a different website, and now it doesn't want to send it to me right away because I've logged in, or because Facebook does this. But notice the thing at the top, the link at the top has changed to a different website, the Camillus ads one. So it did redirect. I apologize that we couldn't see it right here, but it redirected to the Camillus ad site instead of my Dave Gardner, because again, notice if I go through and we do the David Gardner, we see a different page. This was the page I saw originally, the David Gardner, but we went to the Camillus ads one. And again, notice it changed and asked me to log in because it only gives you a couple seconds with Facebook. So you have the ability to change and do different things. Now, let's say, for example, you don't like this style and want to delete all this code. And we're going to go through, and let's just say you're just limited in the space that you have in your website and you want to do a form. So our forms list, notice I don't have any forms because the form wizard doesn't show up as a form list because it's not a created form per se. So we want to create a form, and those forms will show up. So again, notice my only campaign is the chamber test. We'll do a form name. Because we're in the chamber test campaign, we're going to do blog post test. Because I'm going to put this just on the blog post. And again, I don't want the English mail. I want the custom URL. Let's say this time the thank you. I'll show you what it looks like for a double opt-in. And so with the double opt-in, my verify email, I have a different thing that they'll see. So this is a video that I created before. And so let's say they already logged in. So let's go to Camillus ads, and I want this to be a double opt-in. So that means they're going to have to go to their email and check that. And I'll show you what they see here in a little bit. And one other thing that we have to add and create. If you do a double opt-in, you need to do a opt-in message. And I'll show you that in just a second. And so what we typically want to have, you typically want to get as much information as possible. And so if you can separate it or just do it as full name, it makes it easier just to have 2 boxes to fill in instead of 3. You can make it visible or make it required. I often will just make it visible. If they make it required, it will, require them to put in a name. If it's visible, they can actually get through without doing it if they leave that blank. So I like to try to get the real name so I can communicate with them that way. So if we create this again, I can change this. You can change this how you want this, submit your, information. I can change my submit button text. So let's say, give me the goods now. And so when we click add, I will now see that I have one campaign. I can go in and I can edit it. I can get the HTML and I can preview what it looks like. So we're going to get a pop-up. Notice it's very simple. So we're going to show that and add that in just a minute. I can get the HTML. I can make it as a popover or I can delete it. And so again, notice there's the HTML code. Now there doesn't seem to be as much code because there's not as many graphics on this one. So again, I'm just going to Control A to select it all, Control C to copy it or to right click and copy. Now I have that stored and I can go through and I can go back in, and once I'm in the text or if I'm in, I change my page source depending on who's modifying your website, I can add that code. And once I add that code, again, notice here I am. So I'm going to update this. And so once it's updated, we're going to go back to the website again. Okay, and notice this was a previous page I was on. And I want to go back to, let's see, we'll update this. And now I will have, let's see, we'll do it this way. This is a little easier. Open it in a new tab. Testing email campaigns, there it is. So it's a different look. You can change around because this spacing is wide open and it wasn't restricted to a certain space. The bottom is shifted over a little bit. But basically, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to do it with a different email. So we're going to call this, Tester2 or Tester2 Dave. And we're going to use a different email that I used before. I used Basic Lacrosse last time. We're going to use Your Review Guru. And we're going to give me the goods. And so what's going to happen now, instead of it going to, for example, write your offer right away, it's going to tell the person what they need to do. So for example, you would create a page that gave them some steps to go back and check their email. So for example, thank you for opting in to get some great training. Though to protect myself and your email inbox, please go open your email first to verify as I mentioned in the video below. So it will look just like this image you see here. So for example, from Dave Gardner, Tester Sample, please verify your request for training. So at this point, if we go back, I did not get any email that said that. So there's a problem there. And sometimes you recognize this and it's always good to test. And so we want to go back and we'll do this again. So I mentioned I would tell you about the opt-in message. You have to create an opt-in message for this account so they know that it's going to be a campaign to join. And so there's only one thing I'm going to choose from. Again, whatever your campaign is, you're going to choose. And, so for example, hello, whatever. So it's going to say tester 1, I believe, what I just did. So hello, tester 1. Okay. Welcome to, let's see, the chamber. Actually, if we go back and follow that video, like I just shared you, please verify your request for training. So we want to keep it simple. So if we go back and say, please verify your request for training. And hey, and you can insert fields. So the subscriber first name, full name, last name is a great thing as well because that automates it and populates it so you actually get the thing to come in. So, congrats on wanting to know more, blah, blah, blah. Please click the link below that says to join. In order to keep receiving our awesome emails. Okay, just something like that. Okay. Once that's done, you got to put it in both boxes. There's an HTML box and a text box. And in the other presentation video, I showed you the difference in what an HTML video is, or HTML email, and what a regular email is, whether it has lots of pictures or not. So going through here, I don't think, here's my HTML template. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to show you what it is. We're going to change the source code. And I'm going to copy this. I'm going to edit here. We're going to do OK. So I'm just going to change the message because this is the message that I want again. So let's see. Urgent. Email verification needed ASAP. So something like that. You can make it more visual, or you could make it just plain and simple. And so that's the opt-in message. So when they do an opt-in for double opt-in, this is only required for double opt-in. So we're going to add it. Now it's in there. And so now when we go through, I don't know if I got an email. So here we go. Notice this one, hello testing 2. So in this case, click here to join. That followed through, but it was an old one. This wasn't the first process because it recognized the name, but it didn't send me anything that I updated. It just sent me a regular one. It was very generic. And so when I first click this, and what happens is after you click it, you become verified. And so if we go back here for a second and go to subscribers, we should see a pending subscriber now. And so notice right here, I am pending. That's because I received and I submitted my name, Tester2, but it was a double opt-in and I haven't verified it yet. And so I'm a pending person. That means I won't get any emails until I actually accept it. So when we accept it, I'm going to now be forwarded to that Facebook page for Camillus ads. So I'm just going to log in. We're going to go into regular, just so I show you that this changes. We'll go to regular Facebook. And we're going to log in here. Just so I have my Facebook open and you can actually see what's going on and get some instant stuff. So notice I'm not at the Camillus ads page, but when I go through and I click my email, click to join, it's going to send me to that Camillus ads page or to some other page that I have set as far as where I want it to redirect. So what we need to do, we need to go through. Notice that just took me to a generic page for the parent program. We need to make sure that our campaign is set up correct. And so in our campaign, when we have our campaign list, if we go through, we're going to edit this just to make sure that we are set up correctly. And so notice the website redirect page after a subscriber opts in if a thank you page isn't specified in the form. And so what we want to do, we want to make sure that that would be the Facebook page. And so therefore, after they redirect and they register, then they're going to be good. So once we have that all set, we're going to test it again. And I'm going to go back. We're going to call this one testing again. We're going to use a new email. It's going to send me, because it's double opt-in, it's going to send me to that page again with my video. And notice in the video, I keep this video, go verify your email. I keep this video short, basically just telling them what I'm telling them up here. Go log in, you're going to look for this email. And so we just logged in. We're going to see and notice that that's different. So notice now it says a new chamber message person. So again, there might be a little bit of delay. So this was the first one I did with the image capture. This was the second one I did with, just none of the follow-up. And then we're going to get a third one here momentarily. And we're going to see what goes on. And so once we actually see and we verify this, you've taken a minute to watch this, or maybe it's a page that actually has some of the information they still want to see. When they go back into their email, notice it says, okay, hello, testing again. This is what I created. Please verify your request for training. And we have that email that is an HTML email. Now notice my images aren't showing here, but I have, that ability to join. And so down here at the very bottom is that click to join. And so if we display the message or the images, we can see the images in the email. Again, that's the HTML email that makes it a little bit better. And so you might want to say something to the nature or the effect of, okay, check at the very, very bottom below this email. There's a click to join. So when I click to join it again, it should redirect me to my Camillus Ads Facebook page. And lo and behold, it does. And so again, this is something that I'm updating and I'm going through the process as well as I update my blog. And so just shows you some of the power of what's going on with using an email. And I apologize for the confusion with, changing some of the information here. And so depending on how you want to go through it, if you don't do double opt-in, you didn't need to do this. Okay, a single opt-in is just going to go direct to the page. So let's take a look at it again from another example, and we'll do a single opt-in. So let's create a new form. Notice there's one form. I've displayed it a bunch of times. I've submitted a bunch of times. We're going to create a new form, and we're going to call this blog post tested more. Okay. Again, I want to do a custom URL, and the thank you page, because it's going to be a single opt-in. I didn't click this. It's going to be a single opt-in. I'm just going to put it to another page. So for example, HTTP, and we'll go to, and we'll just kind of go to this. We'll go to one of my other pages. I do a lot of lacrosse stuff just to show you again how it works. And let's say if they're already subscribed, it would go to the lacrosse Facebook fan page. So again, we're going to keep this just generic. We're not going to do double opt-in. We're going to make sure we choose the full name. We'll make it required. And yeah, I want the goods delivered ASAP. And then we're going to click add. And well, I'll see that I have two campaigns now. Oops. Apparently it copied them twice, so I'm going to delete one of them, because I clicked return by accident and then I clicked the add button. So notice this, the S and the D. D means it's a double opt-in, S means it's a single opt-in. And you can see how many times your site has been displayed, how many people have submitted their name, therefore what's your opt-in rate, and how many opt-in messages were sent. So I had the two opt-in messages sent, one that was very generic and one that was a little more updated. So this was one of them that was the HTML, and then this was the bad one. And so a lot of it is just playing around, and it would be recommended that you always test your email. And so again, there's the other message from Joel again telling me there's my third opt-in. And so as we go through, we're going to get the code again. And so now I want to test this out. I want to get the HTML code, Control A, Control C. And we're going to go back into this post. And notice it says, full name, please enter your email, give me the goods now. I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit this whole thing. So I'm going to highlight this whole form, and I'm going to basically paste the new one in its place. So I'm going to Control V because I had already had it saved. And so notice it says I want the goods delivered ASAP, so it's changed, and you got to update that every single time. And as you update it, once we go through, if we go back to our site again, notice there's the original one. Get me the good now. I even spelled it wrong there the first case. But now it says I want the goods delivered ASAP. And so we'll call this one a lax tester. And Dave Gardner at Lacrosse Commandments. We haven't used that one. So I want this right away. And again, this is going to bring me, when I redirect, again, I'm going to have something on my page with value or something that's allowing someone to opt in or enticing someone to opt in. And so they want the goods delivered ASAP. When you do a single opt-in, it will send them directly to the page that you want to see, and it adds them to your email autoresponder. So I want the goods delivered ASAP. Okay, so notice this is what happens sometimes. I apologize for this. Notice I have many subscribers from this IP. This means that I'm physically, me, Dave Gardner, I'm physically testing this on my computer. So they want to make sure that this is not an auto post, okay? That not some machine is doing it. So they're just testing to make sure that I'm doing it. So we had Lax Tester, I had Dave Gardner at Lacrosse Commandments. Now we just got to fill this in. Normally, if you test on your own just once or twice, it's not going to be an issue. But people will be coming from all different computers and all different IP addresses, so it shouldn't be an issue. So BRNGDH, and so hopefully this will work. When we submit that it's real, notice, here we go, it brings me right to my Commandments of Lacrosse site. So unfortunately, I can't test another one because it'll keep giving me the same errors. But notice again, it redirected me. When I go into my email, there is a fourth message. Okay, a new chamber test subscriber is subscribed. So Lax Tester, Dave Gardner at lacrossecommandments.com. Because I did not get a message in there to do double opt-in, I didn't get any follow-up. Now, all of this is just setting up the campaign. The other thing you want to also do is give a follow-up message. And because I did this in the other order, they won't have an initial follow-up, but they might be able to get follow-ups the next day. Or maybe you can set them as such. And so again, notice I only have one campaign to choose from. We're going to click on, sorry about that, message, and then add follow-up. I only have the one campaign, so we're just going to say, you know, welcome to the team. And just a test. And you need to add it in both places. So I'm going to add this in, and it's just a test. So welcome to the team, sends after day 1. What you really want to do, I highly, 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 highly recommend for your first email, you make this a 0. That means it's sent 0 days after the previous message, which really means it's sent instantly after they first opt in. Okay, it's sent instantly after they first opt in. I would then add another follow-up. Every other one after this should be at least 1 day. Okay, if you can email every day or have the automated emails every day, that's great. So a day later, so let's say today is Wednesday, they would get this message on Thursday, you know, congrats on making it to day 2. You know, again, something simple. You'd have your training, which I didn't spell congrats right. Again, shows I'm human. Day 2, boom. All right, so we've created those emails. I won't see those until the next day. And so when we look at this, nothing showed up. So let's see if they let me go through this process again. And I want to go back to my main page. I want the goods delivered. So we're going to use another email yet again. And we'll see if they let me. Test it out. Okay, I want the goods and delivered. And again, notice because we're using this same thing multiple times, we need to verify that it's a legit person. So 3W6SPF. Watch what happens this time. It redirects me to the page that I went after I verified it. But in my email, okay, I get the 5th person who just submitted, Dave Gardner, my resource kit. But what I'm also going to start to get now, and it might take a couple minutes, so we'll just give it a couple seconds. I'm going to get those email messages. So a minute ago, I just sent these welcome to the team in my day 2 boom. And so let's go over here again and just to verify and show, look at my subscribers list as we give this a minute. Notice I have all these subscribers in there. I can figure out and I can add when I want to, you know, put them in. Notice the last follow-up is 627. The next one will be 628. So today there's a follow-up that was sent. Tomorrow is the next one. Notice these ones don't have follow-ups because they registered before I added that message in. So it's another key thing to follow up and make sure you have some email follow-ups in before you start blasting out your emails. So if we go through here, let's see, we'll give this a second because the system sometimes sends them on a delay within the 24 hours. And so as we go through, I'm not sure why this just changed them all out of order. It might be alphabetical. Yeah, B, L, M, M, and Y. Yeah, it just changes the emails to be alphabetical. That's what happened there. And so as we go through, you can create as many messages as you want. Let's say, again, if you're a business and you're following, some type of training, you could have a 10-day training of, something that you're doing or something that will help your customer or client, and they're going to get a certain part of that every day over the next 10 days. And so that's something that you can deliver automatically. It's a set and forget. You can create it once, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's basically automated. If people want to respond to the emails, then they can respond to the emails and they can touch base with you and you can talk to them based on that. So I'm going to check my spam folder because sometimes things get ended up or sent over there. You just want to make sure you always check your spam too when you're joining email lists. And so it doesn't look like it sent to spam. I'm just going to clear those out of the way. And like I said, we'll give this another minute or two just to see if things go through as we go through and check some of the other things here that will possibly help you out get started. So again, first thing going through this again is to create a campaign. Okay, you're going to add a campaign, relatively simple. Like I said, if you're going to create a if you're going to create one that is single opt-in, you don't have to worry about this website URL. If it's a double opt-in, you're going to want to make sure you direct people to where they opt in, and you also have to create this opt-in message. And so the opt-in message, again, is just going to be something that verifies that they have actually joined and, they've registered for the program. And so that, again, protects you from getting spam emails, fake emails, bots, other things that are in there. But it sometimes often limits, and because there's an extra step involved, sometimes people don't like to go, that further step and take the necessary process of going through their email to actually get that going. So on this page, where the redirect page, if you have a single opt-in that redirects right to a page, you might want to have something of value right there. Give them what they want on that next page. So after they opted in, so for example, I'll go back here. Once they opted into this page, or, for example, when they opt in here, I want to send them direct to a place, whatever works for me, so that I can get my information across to those people. And so this, again, could be my end. Sometimes Gmail takes a while to accept emails. It could be the system. And so I'm just going to log off here for a second. Then I'll log back in. Just to kind of run through again. Notice again there it shows me contacting me. Just go to the members area. It's not a big deal. Once you're in, again, your Now Lifestyle product suite, create a campaign by adding a campaign. Once you've got your campaign set, again, if it's a single opt-in, you don't have to worry about the opt-in message down here. If it's a double opt-in, you do. Otherwise, just start doing messages. If let's say my email series is gone and, I keep communicating things, and all of a sudden, let's say I want to run a special today. Okay. Now, if you had a print magazine or ad, you're not going to decide at the last moment to do an offer. And so that's where you would do a broadcast and a send broadcast. Broadcast tells you what mails you've sent already. Notice I don't have any here. A send broadcast, notice I have one campaign to choose from. It pops it over there. If I don't want it, I can send it back. If I have a couple campaigns, I can choose as many as I want to send it to all my groups. So, today's special. I could do something like this. Again, hey, first name, or I could go through my subscriber first name. Just decided at the spur of the moment to have this awesome special for the next 5 people that come in and mention this email. Do it. Okay. So just something quick and simple. And one of the cool things with these send broadcasts, I can determine when I want it to go out. I'm going to send it instantly, so hopefully it'll show up in my inbox. But I can change the date. Let's say you want to send it in advance. Let's say you're going on vacation, but you want to keep some local information, or let's say you have an upcoming event and you know you want an email blast going out every day. And if you're busy at work, you could set 3 or 4 emails in advance, and then all of a sudden they get delivered on schedule. And so I'm just going to do this as a live broadcast. We're going to click add. And then what happens is now it's a pending broadcast. It will not go out by itself yet until you click the add, which puts it in the queue and then sends it out. I can go back and edit it. If I realize, oh shoot, I wanted to send it later, I can go in and edit it and change the date and the time that I want it to set out. Or if I don't want to send it all, I can delete it. So it just doesn't instantly go. So I'm going to click send, and it's going to send it to myself. So today's specials, we'll start to see these pop into the email inbox here momentarily. And so we're just going to give this another couple minutes. I apologize for the delay. Again, sometimes it's just that there's thousands and thousands of emails going out with our service, but also Gmail sometimes has an issue with their email system as well. So, excuse me, I want to point out a couple other things here. Again, follow-up, you can go back and see the follow-ups that you have. You can see when they're sent. You can see how many people opened them, if they clicked any of the links, if you highlighted and set links in there. The follow-ups, I can add another follow-up if I wanted to. My broadcast messages, now I see that there's a sent broadcast. Like right now it says it was sent to 0 people, meaning it's still in the queue. And so it's going to be sent out to those 5 people that are on my list so far that I showed you previously. Okay, send broadcast, again, is for a live broadcast. Subscribers, again, we looked at already. Forums, we looked at already. If you have people that are, for example, on your email, but let's say they're only in your like Gmail or your AOL mail, what you can do is do a manual import, but there are some rules and regulations. You can only import so many people per day, and they are required to opt in. So they would get like a join email. You could send them some information, and then they would get a message saying that we were requesting for them to join so that they could actually continue to get email notifications from us. So again, overall, the Now Lifestyle and SendShark is a very simple to use suite of tools. There might have been a little confusion as I was going back and forth and adding, I added in the extra website link, and I, changed and modified the double opt-in to a single opt-in, and so on and so forth. But all of this is going to be available through videos. Okay, I kind of gave you more of an in-depth overview. The previous video just told you where everything was. This kind of walked you through doing a couple things. I also had some issues, with the formatting, just because I did a blog page versus an actual registered like sidebar or widget, on the side that's limited in space. This kind of spread it out instead of keeping it limited. So hopefully you found some value in this video. We're still waiting for this. Again, this could take a while. I don't want to keep this video going on. I might pause it for a second, and we'll just see if these come in. So I'm going to do that because we're almost close to an hour, and I appreciate your time. We'll give it a few minutes, and we will go from there to see if those emails show up. Okay, so here we are. It's taking too long. I'd pause this for a while, but anyways, notice I have a email response here finally. This is a couple ones. This is the one right here. If you look at this one, hello, testing again, please verify your request for training. So if you do a double opt-in, then you want something like that, and you'll see in your client will see something like that where they have to go through and actually click to join. But if it's just a single opt-in, they instantly get it. So I tested again. It took a while, and I just decided to go forth and through it, and it went right away. So notice I did another one, testing again. I used a different email, $2secret.com, and I got the email within a minute, basically. It came, just this one came, and then a minute later or whatever, it's listed at the same timestamp, 3:01, and the welcome to the team. Notice just a test. I could unsubscribe if I want. And so I want to show you how that works too. And so notice this first message, welcome to the team with the exclamation mark. Welcome to the team from Dave Gardner at the David Gardner to Dave Gardner at $2secret. So notice it's been sent to 2 people. If I refresh this, we should see that the email was opened. For some reason that wasn't registered there. But anyways, When you go through, I want to show you something here as well. One of the big key thing about email autoresponders is having the ability to unsubscribe. So we're going to go and we're going to look at these subscribers. And if we look at the subscriber list, we got 6 people now. The last one was this testing again with the $2 secret. I'm going to go back into my Gmail. I'm going to click to unsubscribe. And if you notice, it'll give me information here. It says testing again, unsubscribe. The sign up site was camillusads.com. The actual campaign and the sign up page, it actually will tell you the page you signed up on or the person signed up on. And then right now it lists me as being subscribed with the campaign, the chamber test, and my sign up date. All I got to do is click unsubscribe. I will save it. And then it says you've successfully unsubscribed. So what happens is I won't get the day 2 message, nor will they be able to send me any email blasts. So if we go through, I got 6 people here back on the website. If I refresh the page, it'll go to 5. At least it should. I'm not sure why it's not doing that right now. But it oh, okay, never mind. Notice this modified it to unsubscribed, even though these are still active. So it did still keep it. It didn't make it disappear though. So they're still counting, and this is something you want to pay attention to. If you were to have a list that got extremely big and you approached 50,000, which if you're just sticking with a local Camillus community, it's probably not going to be an issue. But if you're actually doing something that's international and you're possibly doing stuff that might be through like Instagram or Facebook where you might have a lot more fans that then eventually come to your website and sign up, you might see this number rise and increase. So if it's an unsubscribe, what you want to do is just go through and you can delete them. So yeah, I'm sure I want to delete it by clicking the X. And what that'll do is that'll bring this down to 5. So now I have an extra space for someone else to subscribe. So notice all these people are active. We got rid of the unsubscribe. So again, this was kind of a big picture view, but also kind of going in depth with some of the key things that you need to do with the email autoresponder. If you weren't able to get my live presentation at the chamber event, hopefully some of this has helped you out and benefited you in addition to going through the actual videos. If you're still stuck, send me an email, let me know what you're actually stuck on, and we will go and take it step by step. Remember, you don't have to learn it all in one day, and it is a relatively simple system once you get the hang of it. So hopefully this has helped, and I look forward to working with you in the future. And again, if you're a member of the Camillus Chamber, you can go to camillusemail.com if you want to register your account. It's $25 a month to use the software, or if you want to go in, which I would highly recommend at the yearly rate, it's $197, which is a 35% discount, which is huge when you think about saving money and trying to have more, basically keep yourself in the green. So you want to keep your expenses low and your overhead low, but you want to be able to get a lot more ROI out of this. So again, email is the way to go when you can keep doing things. Not to say that print advertising doesn't work, but email advertising is going to be a heck of a lot cheaper. All right, this has been Dave Gardner with Camillus Ads. We'll talk to you soon.